everyone, welcome to biology class. In this class, we are going to see 9th standard biology chapter 22 world of microbes. In this part of the video, we will discuss about the vector-borne diseases, diseases transmitted by animals and about immunization. So the last part of the video, we have seen about airborne and waterborne disease. So this class we will start with the vector-borne diseases. First, what is a vector? Vector is an agent that acts as an intermediate carrier of the pathogen. That is, it is going to carry the pathogen or transmit the pathogen. So, such a carrier is referred to as a vector. So, what serves as vectors? Many insects and animals act as vectors. So, diseases that are transmitted by vectors are called vector-borne diseases. And these vectors can transfer the infecting agents from an infected person to another healthy person. Some of the insect vector-borne diseases are malaria, filaria, chikungunya, dengue, and the diseases which are transmitted through the animals are bird flu and swine flu. First, let's see about the insect vector-borne disease called malaria. Malaria continues to be one of the major health problems of developing countries. And this disease is caused by a protozoa. And the name of the protozoan is called Plasmodium. There are 4 species of Plasmodium. So they are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum, and Plasmodium ovale. So these 4 species are known to cause malaria. Okay, out of this 4 species of Plasmodium, the malaria which is caused by Plasmodium falciparum is malignant and fatal. Okay, it is severe and it can lead to death of the individual. So it is called as malignant and fatal. And approximately 300 million people around the world get infected with malaria every year. And this disease, malaria, it spreads through the bite of an insect vector. So though Plasmodium is going to cause the malaria, so it is going to be transmitted through the bite of insect vector. And the name of the vector is female Anopheles mosquito. So this female Anopheles mosquito, it feeds on human blood and usually lasts less than 10 days. A person affected by malaria will show the following symptoms, such as headache, nausea, that is vomiting sensation, muscular pain, chillness and shivering, and followed by rapid rise in temperature. So after some times the fever will subside, that is it gets reduced, and once the fever is getting reduced there will be profuse sweating, profuse meaning more. Okay, there will be more sweating in the people who are suffering from the malaria. And for the treatment, use of quinine drug, okay, will kill all the stages of the malarial parasite. The next vector-borne disease is chikungunya. Chikungunya is caused by virus and it is also transmitted by the bite of mosquito. But here the genus of the mosquito is different. So in case of malaria it is Anopheles mosquito, and in case of chikungunya the mosquito which is transmitting it is Aedes aegypti mosquito. And this mosquito transmits the chikungunya during the daytime, and it causes severe and persistent joint pain, body rash, headache and fever. And the joint pains can last for a very long time. And the incubation period of the virus is usually 2 to 12 days. And chillness, high fever, vomiting, nausea, headache, persistent joint pain and difficulty in walking are the common symptoms associated with this disease. And in case of joints, the joints gets inflamed. Okay, it is a condition, the pain will be there, followed by that redness of that area will be there. So that condition is called inflammation. And the person finds it difficult to walk. And for the treatment, paracetamol is given to relieve the pain and for reducing the fever. The next vector-borne disease is dengue. Dengue is known as break-bone fever. The name break-bone fever was given to this disease dengue because it causes a very severe joint and muscle pain. And this dengue fever is caused by virus and it is transmitted by Aedes aegypti mosquito. And the incubation period. So what is incubation period? The time period required for the onset of symptoms once the virus enters into the body and the cause of the first symptom, that time period taken by the virus is referred to as incubation period. So incubation period is usually 5 to 6 days. And onset of high fever, severe headache, muscle and joint pain, rashes, hemorrhage, fall in blood platelet count are the symptoms associated with the disease. And even it may lead to vomiting, abdominal pain, difficulty in breathing, minute spots on the skin signifying bleeding within the skin are also associated with the dengue fever. And paracetamol is given to reduce the fever and body ache pain. And complete rest and increased intake of fluid is essential. Know your scientist. Sir Ronald Ross, he is an Indian-born British doctor and he is very famous for his work concerning malaria. He worked in the Indian Medical Service for 25 years and he identified the developing stages of the malarial parasite in the gastrointestinal tract of the mosquito. Okay, so in the gut of the mosquito, he identified the developing stages and hence he proved malaria was being transmitted by mosquito. And in 1902, Ronald Ross have received the Nobel Prize for the Physiology or Medicine for his work on the transmission of malaria. Next, do you know an extraction of tender leaves of papaya and herbal drink Nilavembu Kudineer is given to dengue patients and it is known to increase the blood platelet count. Next is Filaria. Filariasis is a major health problem in India. So this disease is caused by a nematode worm. So in the animal kingdom we have seen phylum Nematodano. So that nematode worm causes the disease called Filaria. And the name of the nematode worm is Wuchereria bancrofti. And the adult worms are found in lymphatic system of man. And it is transmitted by the bite of infected Culex mosquito. So again the genus of the mosquito is different. So it is transmitted by Culex mosquito. And the incubation period of the filarial worm is 8 to 16 months. Okay, it is not days. So after the entry of this nematode worm, it will take around 8 to 16 months to develop the symptoms. And the symptoms include acute infection, fever and inflammation in lymph glands. And long-term infection, that is chronic infection. The main feature is elephantiasis. Okay. So this condition is referred to as the swollen leg. Okay, it is referred to as elephantiasis. So this can affect the legs, scrotum, that is the male genital area, and also the arms. So here and all you can find this elephantiasis. Mosquitoes prevention and control. So most of the diseases till now we have seen the disease is being transmitted by means of mosquitoes. So when we control the mosquitoes, we can prevent the occurrence of these diseases. So how to prevent and control? The prevention of mosquito bites by using mosquito nets, mosquito screens, mosquito repellents and ointments. And elimination of breeding places. So the mosquito breeding places can be eliminated so that the mosquito cannot breed or multiply by providing adequate sanitation, underground waste disposal system and drainage of stagnant water. And collection of water in any uncovered container such as water tank, pots, flower pots, discarded tires should be avoided because when the water gets stagnant, the mosquitoes will breed. And the control of mosquito larvae by spraying oil on stagnated water bodies. And adult mosquitoes can be killed by spraying the insecticide. And application of citronella oil or eucalyptus oil on the exposed skin will prevent the mosquito from biting us. So next, let's see about the diseases transmitted by animals. So we have seen about diseases transmitted by means of insects. Now we are going to see the disease transmitted by means of animals. Swine flu. Swine flu first originated from pigs and it is caused by virus that affects the pigs and has started infecting humans. The virus will spread through the air and it affects the respiratory system. The influenza virus H1N1 has been identified as the cause of this disease. So this virus is getting transmitted from person to person by inhalation or ingestion of droplets containing virus from people sneezing or coughing. The symptoms include fever, cough, nasal secretion, fatigue. Fatigue means getting tired, headache, sore throat, rashes in the body, and body ache or pain, chills, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and shortness of breath, that is breathing difficulty, are the symptoms associated with the disease. Let's see its prevention and control. Administration of nasal spray vaccine, so which is taken through the nose. Avoiding close contact with the person suffering from flu. Intake of water and fruit juice will help the body from dehydration. That is, dehydrated condition means very less fluid level in the body. That condition is called dehydration. To prevent the dehydration, we can take more amount of water and the fresh juice. And plenty of rest will help the body to fight the infection. And always we have to wash the hands and practice good hygiene. Next, more to know. The swine flu first surfaced in April 2009 and affected millions of people. Then in June 2009, it was declared a pandemic, that is the disease which was found worldwide by World Health Organization. In 2015, India reportedly had over 31,000 people infected by swine flu and 1,900 people have died because of this swine flu. Next is avian influenza. Avian influenza, it is a contagious bird disease caused by viruses. So it is being carried and spread by the birds, which include chicken, turkeys, ducks and other wild birds and pet birds. And it is caused by influenza virus H5N1. The incubation period of the virus is 2 to 7 days. It will take 2 to 7 days for the incubation time. And people who have close contact with the infected birds or the surfaces that have been contaminated by the bird secretion from mouth, eyes, mucus, nasal secretion or the bird dropping feces will transmit this disease. Fever, cough, sore throat, running nose, muscle and body ache, fatigue. Fatigue means getting very tired, headache, redness of eyes, that is conjunctivitis, and difficulty in breathing are the symptoms of this disease. Let's see the prevention and control of avian influenza. Avoiding open air markets where infected birds are sold, and avoid contact with the infected birds or consumption of infected poultry. Consumption means eating. Proper cleaning and cooking of poultry. Do you know? The avian influenza virus AH5N1 emerged in 1996. It was first identified in southern China and Hong Kong. H5N1 was first discovered in humans in 1997 by World Health Organization and first outbreak was in December 2003. Next, let's see about the sexually transmitted diseases. So, when the pathogens are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to another and it is not merely caused by physical contact. Okay, such kind of disease is called as sexually transmitted disease. A few sexually transmitted diseases are Aedes, gonorrhea, genital warts, genital herpes and syphilis. So, we will be discussing in detail about Aedes. And do you know, HIV was first recognized in Hatay, USA in 1981 and in India, the first confirmed evidence of AIDS infection was reported in April 1986 from Tamil Nadu. The AIDS vaccine RV144 trial was conducted in Thailand in 2003 and reports were presented in 2011. AIDS. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is caused by retrovirus. Okay, it is a kind of RNA virus. And the name of the virus is HIV, Human Immunodeficiency Virus. So the virus, so this is the structure of the HIV virus. So this virus will specifically attack the WBC. The other name for the white blood cell is lymphocytes, and thereby the lymphocytes, the main function of which are giving immunity to the body. So, since the virus is going to attack the lymphocytes, it will weaken the body's immunity. And this disease is transmitted through sexual contact. So, if one person is having AIDS, so the disease will be transmitted from that person to another person who is having sexual contact with him. And blood, through the blood contact also, the HIV can get transmitted. That is transfusion of unscreened blood. So, when the blood is not being tested for HIV and blood which is collected from the person who is having HIV, when it is transferred to another person, it may lead to AIDS. And by means of surgical equipments like infected needles and syringes. And maternal fetal transmission, that is, when the mother is infected with the AIDS, the fetus, the baby, will also develop AIDS. The symptoms of the disease include weight loss, prolonged fever, sweating at night, and chronic diarrhea. Let's see the prevention and control of AIDS. The disposable syringes and needles should be used. And the person should have always protected and safe sexual contact. And before the blood transfusion, the blood should be screened for HIV. And avoid sharing shaving blades or razors. And people should be educated about the AIDS transmission. The next disease we are going to see about hepatitis B or serum hepatitis. So this disease occurs by the infection of hepatitis B virus. So there are several types of hepatitis virus such as A, B, E. So this serum hepatitis is caused by hepatitis B virus. And this virus damages the liver cells and it causes acute inflammation and cirrhosis of liver. And this disease is transferred from the infected mother to their babies or by sexual contact. And it is also transmitted by contact with the infected person's secretion such as saliva, sweat, tear, breast milk and blood. And the symptoms include fever, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, yellowness of eyes and skin, light colored stool means the fecus, itching of skin, headache and joint pain. The prevention and control. Screening of blood donor before blood donation can prevent the transmission, and injection of drugs to be prevented, and the having safe and protected sex, and the sharing of razor should be avoided, and hepatitis B vaccine offers excellent protection against HPV, and this vaccine is safe and highly effective. Some of the other sexually transmitted disease which is caused by bacteria and viruses. First is gonorrhea. The disease is transmitted by the bacteria called Neisseria gonorrhoeae. It is transmitted through sexual contact. The urethra is affected and the symptoms include discharge from the genital openings and pain during urination. Next is syphilis. The disease is transmitted through a bacteria called Treponema pallidum. And it is also sexually transmitted, and the tissue which is affected is the genital area. And symptoms include ulceration on the genital area and skin eruptions. The viral sexually transmitted disease, genital herpes, it is caused by herpes simplex virus. And the mode of transmission is sexual contact and entry through mucous membrane or genital region. And it affects the genital organs of male and female. And symptoms include painful blisters in mouth, lips, face and genital region. Next is genital warts. The causative agent is human papilloma virus. And again the mode of transmission is sexual contact. And the organ which is affected is the genital area of both male and female. And symptoms include discharge from the vagina of the female, itching, bleeding and burning. The next topic we are going to see is about immunization. What is meant by immunization? So, it is a process of developing resistance to the infection through the administration of antigens or antibodies. So, how one can be immunized? By means of inoculation of vaccines into the body, we can prevent the diseases, and this process is called as vaccination. And one effective way of controlling the spread of infection is to strengthen the host defenses. And this is accomplished by immunization, which is one of the cost effective weapon of modern medicine. When a large proportion of a community is immunized against a disease, the rest of the people in the community are benefited because the disease does not spread. Let's see the vaccines and its types. Vaccines are the preparation of living or killed microorganism or their product which is used for prevention or treatment of disease. And they are of two types, live vaccines and killed vaccines. First is live vaccine. So live vaccines, as its name suggests, it is prepared from living organisms. The pathogen is weakened and administered. Okay, so weakened in the sense the pathogen when it is administered will not cause the disease, but it will give immunity. And example for the live vaccine is BCG vaccine and oral polio vaccine. Next is killed vaccine. The microorganisms, bacteria or virus killed by heat or chemicals are called killed or inactivated vaccines. And they require a primary dose followed by subsequent booster dose. Okay, booster dose means once they will take the vaccine and again after several months they will be taking another dose of vaccine. Such another dose of vaccine is referred to as booster dose. Example for killed vaccine include typhoid vaccine, cholera vaccine, pertussis vaccine. Now let's see the immunization schedule. The World Health Organization in the year 1970 has given a schedule of immunization for children. This schedule is carried out in almost all countries. BCG, Bacillus calmette-guerin. And this vaccine was prepared by two French workers, Calmette and Guerin. And the bacilli are weakened and used for immunization against tuberculosis. Next vaccine is DPT vaccine. It is referred to as triple vaccine since it is going to give immunization or protection against three different diseases like diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. MMR vaccine. MMR, mumps, measles, rubella. It gives protection against viral infection. Next, DT. It is a dual antigen. Okay, it is going to give protection against two different diseases, diphtheria and tetanus. Next, TT. Okay, normally you would have heard whenever we got hurt, we'll be taking this TT injection. Okay, tetanus toxoid. So it is a toxin of tetanus bacteria. Next is TAB vaccine. It is combined vaccine for typhoid which is caused by Salmonella typhi and paratyphoid, okay, which is caused by Salmonella paratyphi A and paratyphi B. Now let's see the immunization schedule which is followed in India. A newborn baby will be given the first vaccine called BCG, the first vaccine given to a newborn, and it is given as the first dose. And 15 days, when the baby is around 15 days, it will be given oral polio first dose. In 6th week, the baby will be given DPT and polio first dose. And in 10th week, the baby will be given DPT and polio. Here there is an error in your textbook, you can note down. Okay, in 10th week, DPT and polio second dose. And in 14th week, DPT and polio third dose. And 9 to 12 months, it is given measles first dose. And 18 to 24 months, DPT and polio first dose. And 15 months to 2 years of age, it is given MMR vaccine first dose. And 2 to 3 years, it is given TAB. Okay, 2 doses at 1 month gap. So first dose will be given after 1 month gap, the second dose will be given, booster dose. And 4 to 6 years of age, TT and polio second booster dose. And 10th year, tetanus toxoid and TAB vaccine first dose. And 16th year, TT and TAB second booster dose. Do you know? The process of vaccination was first introduced by the scientist called Edward Jenner. And according to the World Health Organization, WHO, Jennerian vaccination has eliminated smallpox totally from the human population. Know your scientist. Louis Pasteur is 18th century French chemist and microbiologist. He coined the term vaccine. The vaccination was first introduced by Jenner, but Louis Pasteur have coined the term vaccine. And also Pasteur have developed a vaccine against chickenpox, cholera and anthrax. So in this part of the video, we have seen in detail about vector-borne diseases, that is the diseases transmitted by means of insects and by means of animals, and also we have seen about the sexually transmitted diseases and about immunization and immunization schedule. Thank you.